Welcome back to the Mark Morano Show Unleashed with me, Lembit Opik. Just for today, Mark will be back tomorrow. A few of the comments here, I'll just go through them before we go back to Donna, who was definitely on a roll. She overheated the internet, I think. We'll come back to her in just a minute. Lots and lots of comments. Somebody said, I just scrolled past, I can't see, he said, naughty Lembit. What does that mean? What have I done? Explain. Oh, I see. Holly says, now, Lembit, the existing mayor, the highwayman, is levelling down. That's a very good point. Lord Melbury says, compared to petrol or diesel vehicles, it said an electric vehicle causes 32 times more pollution from its materials for manufacture to its charging from fossil fuel power stations. And what of the pollution when its battery goes up like a firework? That's a good point. I want to talk with that about that with Donna for a minute as well. I'm tempted. Yeah, Hemingway agrees with Holly that he's just one angry. He's a one-man angry mob. That's me. That's me. We've had Chuck says, Donna, you're right. Absolutely correct. Lots of support there. It's not a statistically significant sample, Donna, but if the viewership of the show tonight was the American electorate, you'd be the next president of America. I've no doubt about it. They would storm Capitol Hill only to carry you up into the White House. That's what would happen there. They do it on foot. It wouldn't be an electric vehicle in sight. Just that statistic, you'd have to at least double the capacity of the national grid in America to have enough charging. And you're saying you've got 6 or 7 points.
Yeah, and they're never going to. They never intended to build it. You know, one of the things I bring out, and just in general, understanding our American environmentalists, and the left, the poverty industrial complex is just as lucrative and powerful as the military industrial complex, but it doesn't take an act of aggression. I bring that out for this reason. 85% of all the money they allocate for poor people or for low-income people actually goes to the states, and the NGOs never makes it into the hand. So am I surprised that they only built 7 charging stations? Actually, I'm surprised they built that many, because the money is actually going to their pockets. They filter it and use African Americans to be able to push those bills through to line their pockets. They don't mean to actually help any minority come up. They want to make sure they keep them down. That's why you have illegal immigration. That's why you have all of these things. They want to make sure that people are not going to be financially secure. Black people under the Trump policies were actually creating more wealth faster than the top 1%. They have to stop that. And they're using a green tinge to do it. So now we use the climate crisis that we need to save our planet one poor person at a time. So it's all about sacrificing. We can go in private jets, stretch limousines, yachts, and live in mansions that use more electricity than the whole town. But you minority should be taking the bus, and we'll pick you up when you come and serve us, and we'll drop you off. That's basically what they're doing. So that's why I say, do you think they're doing it on purpose? 100% they know. They know that when they go into a car dealership, African Americans cannot afford that. They created the tax code to make sure that there's an asset limit, that if you even attempt to register a car that expensive, you'll get kicked out of all your benefits. And each program is leveled on top of each other to make sure that they help you in the short run, as long as you never help yourself in the long run. They know.
A lot of support coming for you. Holly says, yay, Donna for president. Holly hasn't got a vote, though. She's in Britain. I know that for a fact. So, Holly, just make a donation to her campaign fund. About $300 million would be a good start, I think. Elsit says, leveling up means more middle class down to working class, down to serfs. In other words, an inverted language, inverted leveling down, I suppose. Holly adds it's all a grift. Fat Chuck says most of the public charges are broken most of the time anyway. And all kinds of further comments here. Elsit says, our planet, my backside. Stronger language. I'm just not going to read it out like that. They also like lobbing bombs around in many areas of the world. Fat Chuck. You've touched on quite a point of contact there. Maybe the new special relationship, Donna, is between the working population of Britain and the working population of America, both of whom are enduring the upper middle class oppression of politicians who tell us that it's for our own good, that energy prices are skyrocketing and we're not allowed to buy petrol and diesel vehicles.
It's outrageous. I mean, they're creating energy poverty with the war on fossil fuel. Then they're taking away our ability to actually make a living. You know, whoever controls the purse string controls the person, and they want to make sure that they control the purse string. They know a vehicle with every vehicle a person owns, that's income they can make. You have a gig economy that people can participate in and make extra income for if they can work 2 or 3 jobs getting from one place to another where they can make extra income so that they can live in a decent home. They don't want you to be able to do that. Like I said, African Americans were making too much money. It was record home owner. They were having record home ownership rates.
Well, I was in
office, and all of it has been wiped out.
I was in Colorado Springs a couple of weeks ago for a space symposium, and the driver of the taxi who was taking me back to the airport, he was white, probably about 60, proudly explained the way he ran 3 taxis, all petrol, and he made a bit of money from the other 2, but he was reasonable, didn't take much from the other 2. And he drove himself as well. And he was a self-made man. He's never going to own a mansion. I didn't get into it, but I doubt he'll ever want to have an electric car. He reminded me of a group of people in this country called Just About Managing, JAMS. People who have done the best they can all their lives and are now suffering because of what's going on in their name by the servants of the people, which is the politicians. In your words, how do you feel you're being served by your administration right now, Donna?
That's the same thing they're doing now. They're blackmailing the American public to create an agenda, and that we didn't ask for, but they tell us to deal with it and fall in line and do what we're told. They never asked us. They've never gone to African Americans and said, "Do you want environmental justice?" We did a survey that asked African Americans, how much would you be willing to pay in order to serve the environment, to help the environment? Not one person was even willing to pay 5 cents extra for a gallon of gasoline, and that was before inflation hit. So that tells you where they are. Most African Americans don't trust all of their resources being on one utility. We're supposed to believe that we can have every appliance in our house be electric, our cars be electric, everything we're using electric, and somehow the bill isn't going to go up. No, this will be their way to make sure they shut down everything we have. And then we'll be at the mercy of the utilities that are going to make electricity too expensive. And then they always say, well, we're going to give them a subsidies. Well, you know, the thing I say, why raise the prices in the first place? But, you know, if I'm investing, I don't put all of my eggs in one basket. Why would I want to use one utility source for everything I have? And then I know, because I participated in hearings, that they want to also make these electrified appliances, vehicles, have on-demand capability, which means that at any time, and it's happened in California, they can shut off your electricity so that you don't have hot water when you need it. You don't have air conditioner when you need it. They can shut down your cars. And that's what they want to do. Micromanaging your life. And they have they're doing a mandate for every room in the house. They really do want to make sure they lower the people's standard of living. It's not an unintentional consequence.
I doubt whether it's going to affect Obama in his nice retreat or Biden. But the question is, the super rich Donald Trump, who's almost certain to be the presidential candidate for the Republicans, regardless of what the courts and indeed the Republicans are trying to do about it. Can he change things?
Well, you know what? I think that he will really put forth some policy to try, but it's going to take a lot. And I think that everyone needs to get on board and make people aware of what's going on. I think that we have the best chance with his policies to change things. The thought that union workers would want electric vehicles that work in auto plants when you need fewer people on the line to actually make them. So it's going to get rid of jobs. And then the one thing I say is, you know what? Electric vehicles harm Black people on 2 continents. First, it uses slave labor in the Congos, and then it actually prices Black people out of the marketplace so that they can't make a living. It's it's the most egregious agenda I've ever seen. And I think that Trump will actively try to reverse that.
A couple of things. Of course, all the people who get laid off in Detroit from building petrol cars can go off and join the fire service to put out all the electric car fires. So maybe there's a kind of a circular sort of solution to that, which isn't too funny if I've ever seen one, but there we go. Question for you. Donald Trump is often presented as not being popular with the Black community. There's always a kind of inference that he's racist with these people who don't like him. But it doesn't sound to me you think he is.
You know what? I'll say this. If Donald Trump is racist, we need more people like him as racist, because he created a Black community boom. I mean, we were financially stable. We had permanent funding for historically Black colleges. We had record low unemployment. We had the largest financial increase and wealth increase, record home ownership, record entrepreneurship. I would rather have a racist in the office like that than have a Biden who claims to like us and doing everything to make sure that we are poor. Donald Trump is not a racist, but if he was, I say give us more.
And he never said what Joe Biden said. Poor kids can do just as well as white kids. He never said that, but Joe Biden did. My all-time favorite. Yeah.
And he didn't tell me if I didn't vote for him, I wasn't Black.
That's right. And he forgot that Kamala Harris wasn't the whitest person on the planet either. So much stuff. That's Joe Biden again. There's a whole lot of stuff I can't read out to you here because they're trying to talk. The chat's gone crazy about what would you call a group of politicians. A collective noun for politicians is a lie. For example, somebody else says it. I mean, I can't read these because some of them are extremely rude. What about a thicket of politicians or a steal? And 2 other things. Holly says, I can just about get away with this. It's all politics. I think I can just about get away with that, Holly. It's brilliant, but I prefer to do that after the watershed, and we're nowhere near the watershed in America. And Hemingway reminds me of something. Donna, you probably don't know this, and you should know this. Don't forget, today is National Garlic. Oh, no, sorry. Tomorrow is National Garlic Day, Lembit. It's also National Clean Out Your Medicine Cabinet Day. And you probably knew that. That's what Hemingway says. Tomorrow is National Garlic Day, Donna, all over the world, apparently. Just to finish off, because we're nearly out of time, if you were advising Donald Trump, because I guess you're not too keen on advising Joe Biden, or you don't think there's much point, What would you advise Donald Trump to do between now and November to improve his chances of winning the presidential election?
So I can't tell people who to vote for, but I will say this. Make sure you have a policy that actually strengthens the middle class and it takes away barriers for those in the lower rung to get into the middle class. You don't tell poor people that we think their air is dirty and so we're going to kill all your jobs so that you can be in poverty and be in total despair. What you want to do is make sure you create an environment where industries and businesses can thrive, then people can become economically stable. And when they become economically stable, guess what? People don't cry about racism because they have enough money to do what they want. When people say racism, what they mean is, I don't feel financially secure. And if you create an environment where people can determine their own fates, I'm not saying that you decide for them, but the effort that they put in, just like I put in an effort to succeed, the effort they put in will actually come back to them, not picking winners and losers like this administration has done by making sure that nobody can afford anything. And then they decide the 2 or 3 that they decide to let out the gate. That's the wrong approach. Let the market decide.
Donna, I want to thank you. I think Holly sums it up better than I can. Great show again, Lembit, and love to Donna. So spirited. Cheers all, she says. And I say the same. Donna Jackson, the pleasure to speak with you. When I come to America, I want to meet you in person sooner rather than later. Thank you so much for being with me.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
To quote Arnie Schwarzenegger, you'll be back. Thank you so much. That is Donna Jackson. Fantastic to speak with her.